You are listening to a recording from the Cooperating to Build a Better Nova Scotia conference in Halifax, a celebration marking the United Nations International Year of Cooperatives.
So, Bob, thanks for making the trek all the way out to the Mount.
No problem. Happy to be here.
Yeah, so I played a little bit of the stuff that I did yesterday down at Plan B. Maybe you can give us an idea of, what was the inspiration behind setting up a merchant co-op here in the city?
Well, it started a couple years ago. I had worked in film for the past 20 years, and I know my knees weren't going to last forever, so I needed a fallback position, a plan B, if you will. And stuff being my stock and trade, I thought I'd try my hand at the antique dealing world. And I found that opening a shop here in the city would require at least $10,000 to just open a storefront. And I don't know about you, but I don't have, two dimes to rub together at the best of times. So it was a matter of how do you open a store and not have to, say, put your house up? And I discovered some other people with similar desires. We all were sort of gunning for the same market, and thought, if we collectivized, we could rent a space as a cooperative, each have our own space inside, because none of us needed a huge amount of room, and we could sell together. And that way, actually opening it up that way when we worked the costs out was cheaper than, say, opening up at like a flea market, and we have a storefront address that we can all have 7 days a week. And again, collectively, we all take turns working there.
Yeah.
So it avoids, keeps the cost down again of we don't have to pay employees, and we still have to, get a chance to go off and do things you need to do during the day.
What is the address of Plan B?
It's 2180 Gottingen Street. It's pretty much the center of hipdom in Halifax.
The hipsters spot. So how many members are in your co-op?
There's currently, I think there's 8 members of the co-op, and then we do rent to non-members, to just small space for say crafters and artists and people who just would like a chance to get their stuff out there, but don't really have the time to devote to working at the co-op. So totally there are about 51 of us involved in the space.
Wow. How's that for organization and stuff? Have you had, has it mostly run smoothly? Have there been challenges, working through? Has the team kind of worked together? And you guys have been open for how long now?
Just over a year. We had our 1-year anniversary on October the 31st, which was a lot of fun. As far as organizationally, this is one thing where working for 20 years in film, it's not that big of a challenge. It's a circus like anything else. And at times things tend to get away from you, but if you manage to stay on top of it, it's not been that bad. In fact, I'll tell you, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure. So I understand that when you guys were kind of going to set up as a co-op, there may have been a little bit of, this is kind of a unique type of co-op for Nova Scotia. Yeah,
I mean, the fellow at the cooperative council, they when we went to register, they'd said that in the last 20 years that he had been there, he'd never used that particular form before. He said, well, there are lots of agricultural co-ops, housing or artist co-ops. This is the first sort of mercantile cooperative. Yeah. So it's kind of neat. We were glad to be sort of out there on the edge, but I was surprised at the same time because I'll tell you, in the market where it is today, this seems to be a really, really good model for small businesses.
For people to kind of come together, pool their resources, and create kind of like a collective kind of space to just come together and sell their stuff.
I think this is the way that we can really sort of fight the big box store model, because whereas the big box stores did a huge amount to destroy the sort of small mom and pop operations, well, you know what? If the mom and pop operations can't stand independently anymore, they can stand collectively.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So, why don't you tell us about your space in Plan B? Your shop name, Monkey's Paw. We talked a little bit on that about where the name came from and stuff. But maybe just give an idea of the types of things that you specialize in.
Well, I've always liked unusual things. Again, working in film, you always want to have something that's going to stand out. It's got to be a little different than you're going to see normally in any other space. So I've devoted myself to oddities, really. And in curios, little retro kitsch thrown in just for fun to round out the field. Yeah. But I specialize in oddities. As I was saying, sort of taxidermy, freak taxidermy, like wet samples, medical objects. Yeah. If it's spooky, weird, or you're hesitant to touch it, that's probably the sort of thing I'm going to have 3 or 4 of. Yeah.
So you have a little bag here with you. You brought a couple of things, maybe? You want to do a little show and tell with us here?
Sure, yeah. First, I'm pretty sure you guys talked about him the other day. It's my new favorite thing ever. Is my 2-headed bunny. He's so cute. Yo, please pet it.
Kelsey's joining us too. She's going to be with us through the day. How does it feel?
It's very soft.
Yeah.
It's actually twice as soft. And I did check with my source, and I found it's all right to mention.
Oh, okay. Where he came from?
He came from a.
Is it a he or a she? Or is it one of each?
We're not quite sure about that. Okay. When they do the taxidermy, they all usually remove the junk. Okay. But this little fellow came from a bunny farm in the sort of eastern China, along the seaboard, and he's actually not too far away from a Chinese nuclear naval base. And see, they're not that particular about how they dispose of the spent rods. Right. And this particular little bunny farm has a habit of popping up the odd specimen, which are then collected and preserved.
To bring it here.
That's a good question.
Well, this is the other nice thing. Since China's Deng Xiaoping, when he changed things to sort of like prosperity is good, they loosened up a little bit, and they're usually in to make a little money. The other thing is Chinese military doesn't get questioned much when they ship stuff,
right?
And this is where I'm going with this. Is it might have been a military source,
right? So how amazing! This little 2-headed bunny, this little freak taxidermy specimen has come so far and ended up on the shelf at Plan B in Halifax.
That's right. Is that not wonderful?
It's unbelievable, in fact.
A little bit of world commerce in action there.
Yeah.
I certainly do love it.
Yeah. She's pretty cute.
The fact that this thing was born with 2 heads. It was not taxidermy that way. That was born with 2 heads?
That's right. That's right. This is the real thing. Wow. The real Magilla.
That is really cool.
You're not going to find this anywhere else. I've got it right here.
And for sale at Plan B.
That is correct.
A friendly little neighborhood antique shop.
Yes. And free taxidermy location. Okay, so what else you got there?
I brought you a little medical device. Late 1930s. It's quite unassuming. And what it is taking advantage of the use of medical electricity. Okay. And this device, you'd plug into a machine to generate the electricity. And, tonsillitis, big killer back in the day. Now, when they started removing tonsils, when they became infected, you could sort of really radically lessen the amount of mortality. One of the problems, though, was when you cut the tonsils out was cauterizing the cut. Oh, okay. How do you stop that from infecting or reinfecting? Yeah. Well, they thought electricity might be the answer.
Interesting.
So this device...
Did you say 1930s?
Yeah. Was actually designed to sear the cut with electricity. And
wow.
It was only used for a few years because they discovered that basically it was one of the most painful things that you could endure. And it actually didn't do that good of a job.
Right.
So the chances of reinfection were still high. It's just that you had to
So it was kind of like a failed patent.
Yeah, except almost like the most god-awful device of torture that you could go through as well.
Used by doctors and in hospitals.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, so what else?
One other thing I brought.
Oh, one more bag of tricks.
This wasn't
Bag of tricks.
maybe an oddity, but this is one thing that I think is sort of neat in the line of collecting.
Okay.
And this is one of my personal treasures. It's my Gallet vase.
Okay.
And Émile Gallet was the sort of the top man in glass in the 19th century. And a Gallet vase today, if you were to collect one of his beautiful examples, the lowest I can imagine you find something is about 10,000.
Wow.
And then they go up quickly to 250,000.
Yeah.
When I saw that, they're also, for that reason, the most faked vase in the world.
Yeah.
And when I saw this vase, I bought it as a real Gallet because everything about it's wrong.
Yeah.
And that's what I like. That's the thing that appealed to me was it's all wrong.
Right.
Gallet was known for his cameo glass, and this is one of his enamel pieces, and not nearly as popular. The colors that he's known for are these striking blues, reds, and yellows, and this is green, his least popular color.
Yeah.
He's also known for the magnitude of his work, which were huge vases, some big, beautiful pieces of glass.
Yeah.
And this is the tiniest one he made. It's a bud vase. And again, the least sort of popular size.
Yeah.
If you were going to fake a vase, this is not, it's at 100% not what you'd want to fake.
Yeah.
The smallest, least popular line in the least popular color.
Yeah.
And when I saw that, I thought, my God, it is the real thing. And it's got a wonderful full signature on the bottom of it from 1898.
Wow.
And that's his, he was still alive at that point, too.
So this is from your personal collection?
It's my personal collection. It's my Gallet vase. I keep it home because it's, again, I shouldn't never be able to afford a Gallet vase, but I've got one.
Yeah. And you found it in your hunting.
Came from a funeral parlor in Yarmouth.
Oh, okay.
I was down there buying some, coffin-y bits.
Yeah.
And this turned up in the attic, and the thing is, I just couldn't believe it, a Gallet vase. But then I thought, you know what, it makes sense.
Yeah.
That around turn of the century, you'd have lots of flowers in a funeral home.
Yeah.
And
Will you tell us what you paid for it? Or is that secret?
the one thing is that they did know what they had. They knew it was Gallet.
Okay.
So I had to pay $200 for it.
Okay. And what do you suspect that, if you were going to put it up for auction or whatever?
About $1,500.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people are getting into this kind of now, aren't they? Like going and seeking out of secondhand things. There's whole reality shows based around like storage hunting and Pawn Stars and stuff like that.
That's right. And it really had the markets exploded with people out there hunting stuff down.
Yeah.
They're driving the prices of stuff crazy.
Yeah.
But thankfully they're not, a lot of amateurs running around. They're not too good at what they're doing.
Yeah.
So
they're leaving a lot of the good stuff behind, or you're getting there first.
No, you're right. What it is, they're sort of going after the shiny things, and they're not picking off the valuable stuff. It's going unnoticed. Thankfully.
Right. Well, is there anything that you'd like to maybe get a little plug in for your business or anything before we? There's a couple people gathering around, or.
Well, I can say that if you're looking for some unique stuff to shop for Christmas, Plan B, with, like I said, 51 different small stores, including a lot of crafters and artists. We have a huge variety of things for your gift-giving needs.
Retro video games, definitely. A lot of nice soaps and stuff. Yeah. Vintage clothing, kind of costumey stuff. I love Plan B.
Yeah. And books. You can also buy books there.
Lots of books. Lots of really good books.
Yeah, lots of really good books. I happen to sell some books down at Plan B as well.
A finely curated collection, actually.
Yes, I try.
Oh, you don't just try, you succeed.
Oh, well, thank you, Bob. Thank you very much. Thanks so much for coming out and talking to us and letting me go around the store yesterday and talking to Lionbot and Stacy and Nick and everything. It's great. I really love going into Plan B once a week to see all of the wild and imaginative things that kind of come through your doors.
We're thrilled to help.